Hi, it's Kat and
Dewey.
Dewey. You have another name?
Dewey Black Cobra Cooper.
How fun. Mine is
Catwoman.
something he gave to me. Short story. It was he made a song out of it, so I thought it was pretty cool. Thank you, honey.
Yeah, I'll give you the line in the song. It's a rap song called Stay the Night, kind of an upbeat dance tune, house music, doom, 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 doom. Anyway, in the song, I say, Catwoman stole my heart, robbery. And she got the name Catwoman. Her name's Katrina. We call her Catwoman. You guys get it. Stole my heart, robbery. The real Catwoman was like, she would,
Okay, they don't need to know all about that.
she was like a thief or something. She would take things, expensive jewelry and stuff. You guys know the comic
Nothing
books.
to do with me, though.
Yeah, but Catwoman, you guys get it. All right, topic of the day is running.
Yeah, so this is Restore Your Center, and a lot of people tend to restore their centers with running. And Dewey, he has fighters, and he makes them run a lot. Long distance running,
Mountain runs,
a lot of anaerobic
sprinting, hill training, bleachers.
Yep, and then there's some controversy about that, where if you run too much or you train too much, it's called overtraining, where you're counteracting, I guess, the effects of all the good stuff that you're doing with the training. I wanted to ask him what he felt about that, or how he felt about that.
Well, research and technology is always a good thing, but I don't always let the research or the breakthroughs modify what we believe. Though there are studies that state that running can be counterproductive to explosiveness and all of this, I don't buy it. If you're talking in the realm of being a fighter, a pugilistic sport like boxing, kickboxing, mixed martial arts, you need that high octane. You need those O2 levels to be high, and you need to run. And not just for the reasons like you guys would think. Running also decreases fat, it minimizes weight, which a lot of mixed martial artists have a problem making weight. They're cutting 20, 30 pounds the week of the fight. If you run every day more like the boxing format of training, your weight tend to shift in a downward motion much easier, so you can make those weight cuts much easier. Simply said, I'm from the old school of training. I believe in running every day. We run 4 to 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. But that goes by the level of athlete, the size of the athlete, previous injuries. There's so many different layers to what we do. But replacing running, no way. People like to do the aerodyne bike, which is cool. People like to swim, which is cool. But when you're fighting, especially, like I said, specializing in our sport of professional fighting, you're constantly moving. When you're running, you're constantly moving. I agree, sometimes the runs must be modified, short wind sprints, short burst type running, or sometimes old school Rocky Balboa, go to Mount Charleston and run at 10,000 feet elevation for that thin air and the lung capacity, and just the mentality of making you feel like you did something that you normally couldn't do at a gym on a treadmill. All these things are the intangible things that give you the endurance, the conditioning, and the psychological mind state to fight hard from first round to finish. Swimming is also a good form of cardio, but in swimming, you hold your breath a lot, and holding your breath when you're fighting is the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing. So in conclusion, I say those people that say running is bad for you, counterproductive, or crazy, they're probably regular people, not on a championship level of competition to where they were pushed to their thresholds and needed extra octane to keep them strong, sharp, and smart. So we run all the time, and you see my fighters, they don't get tired.
Yes, from a physiological standpoint, I've read a lot of these articles, And so, yeah, a lot of the sample sizes were small. And when I looked at the sample sizes, they were regular college students, not athletes, right? And then a couple of the ones that I did find regarding the athletes, which was called, one's right here, anaerobic threshold, its concept and role in endurance sports. And the other one was endurance athletes' heart, acute stress and chronic adaptation. Basically what it talks about is when it talks about the true athlete, right? Their abilities are a little bit different. And so overall it improves their abilities versus, hurts them in terms of fighting or whatever athletic sport they're doing. So that needs to be taken into account. And just overall heart, right? Just their ability to push through things that the average person, the average student, the average college person won't typically do.
And just the basic common sense analogy. If you don't run all the time, go run a mile today. You might do it very slow. Run that mile every day for 3 weeks, you'll do it much faster. Of course, like I said, there's layers, there's intricacies, there's a lot of things. Sometimes people say, oh, you ruin your knees. I'm not necessarily saying you have to run on pavements or roads. You can do it on a treadmill. The treadmill helps you with your pace and all of these things. But again, I told you, I'm an old school guy doing the old school methods. I have tremendous amounts of respect for my ancestors and the people that paved the way for us to make the money and gain the popularity that we do off of the fighting sports. So if Muhammad Ali could run and beat sand in black combat boots 4 miles forward, 4 miles backwards at 220 pounds, 6'3", we can too. If Roy Jones can run the entire diameter of the earth, if you equate all the road work he's done in his career, he's a legendary boxer. Mm-hmm. We can too. I tend to, compare what we do to the best of the best, that cream of the crop. And if you look at any of those guys, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis,
Mayweather too, right?
Floyd Mayweather for sure. He runs from his house to the gym and then puts his gloves on and spar. So yeah, Floyd, he's the new best guy ever. If you equate all these guys and what they do, road work is a serious focal point of their training, because there's an old saying in the fight world that states fatigue makes cowards of men. In other words, when your ass get tired, your ass gets in trouble. So running can definitely help prevent that. And again, the nuances of the psychological mind state when you're running, when you're focusing, when you're honing in on a thought, that helps empower you also. But those are little details that people who don't do it at the highest level talk about. Mm-hmm. Running is good. We're going to keep doing it, and we're going to keep winning fights.
Yeah, and then when you were fighting K1, right, you were one of the smaller people fighting against bigger guys.
Yes.
And you had said how running is super important with the legs and keeping your legs strong and taking those shots, right?
Absolutely. Running is...
Tested them.
I'm a guy with so many fights, amateur and professional guys. Not many people that have as many fights as me that can still talk. Running has been a huge part of my success and my victories, and even in my losses, running helped me not get truly hurt, because I wasn't tired. I could move, I could react, I could respond. My brain would send my legs a signal to move left, move right, pivot out, pivot in, roll under, pull out. All these things, when you're tired, when you're fatigued, when your legs can't go anymore, can cause you seriously bodily harm. And running was the main part of that. I was a different fighter from the first week of my training camp to the 6th week, after putting in 6 weeks of running 5-6 days a week, doing distance in the mountain 3 days a week, doing sprints at UNLV track 3 days a week. There's a difference. And running made me where I could do pads longer, punch harder, go much stronger. And mentally, I never felt fatigued. And running was a huge attribute to that. I've tested it. I've done it. I've tested on endless amounts of fighters. I won 10 world championships as a coach. And all of that, my fighters run, and that's the bottom line.
And overall, if you're stressed out, you need to calm down, restore your center, go out for a run.
Yes, and like I said, if you're having knee problems or worry about that type of stuff, get on the treadmill. Put your headphones on, zone out, think about the great future that you're going to create for yourself, and keep on running.